look for something to do. Doing is better than anything. To me, doing is everything. If you're doing things, people's gonna look at you and they will wanna connect with you.
Hey, Pablo, so excited to have you back today. Folks, we're talking about building a community as an expat. So, hey, Pablo, how are you?
Hey, how are you? We're doing great. I'm excited to be here again. Community, I think, is so important. A lot of people do not think about these things, and I want people to understand how important this thing is.
This is definitely something I've learned quite a bit about as I keep going back and forth to Spain. I'm kind of at the point now where I feel like I have as much or more of a community, a direct community when I'm there than I do when I'm in the US. And that's not to say that I don't have all these wonderful friends all over the place in the US, but in Spain, when I walk out my door, there are people right there that I know, and that has come to be something so important to me. But it's not easy when you first move somewhere. And I know for me, the one part of my community that I haven't grown enough is knowing people in Spain, like the actual Spaniards who live there, because I need to work on my language skills. And so my conversations with them are often very short and to the point. But, you know, it's great to get to know people on a relational level too. And I think that really matters. So for those who are considering becoming an expat or maybe have just moved to a new country and they're trying to figure this thing out, why is it important for expats to build a strong community? What have you seen in your experience?
Like a lot of people take for granted. They don't realize if you leave wherever you may be, you leave. You have your parents, your family, you have your neighbors, you have people that you've known for 20 years in your community. You have all of that. You go into this amazing journey to become an expat. You're now in Antigua, Guatemala, or whatever it may be, Boquete, Panama. Guess what? You are alone. You are alone.
Mm-hmm.
You are new. You don't know nobody. And we are all human beings. We are all you're all in need of these connections. So you make all this exciting move, relocate to another country. All you know is the real estate agent, maybe the taxi driver that takes you back and forth to the airport every now and then. Any maybe other service providers that are bilingual. That's it, and that's your family. So I think with this, I answer why is this important. You need to have a support system, friends. If for whatever reason you get sick, it's good to have a friend that you can call
Mm.
and say, hey, can you help me? Can you call my doctor? Can you call my family? Who is your family abroad? And it's just like, it's that important. Who is your family abroad? And oftentimes we go into this journey doing all these things, making big investments, but we just totally forgot about some of the most basic human needs, which is a
Right.
support system, a group of people around you that can help you if anything happens. And then you can also support this other group of people. You could be, a
Right.
friendly hand that can help them for whatever it may be. Oftentimes, you're going to need to have your car parked for 3 months somewhere because you're leaving back to the U.S.
Yeah.
to do whatever. So where do you put your car? Where do you park your car? If you have a friend, you can say, "Hey, can I park your car in your property?" Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Those special little things that we, from where we come from, we may have those things. We already have friends and family. People know us for years, co-workers, I don't know, college friends, whatever. So I think it's important for you guys to think about building community, building a little network of people that can help you if anything happens, and then you can also contribute to them. I think it's so useful. And otherwise, you are alone. Otherwise, you are also putting yourself in a position that is very vulnerable. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. You are in a position of vulnerability. You are alone. So if you're able to build your network of people around you, you're gonna get that extra help that is gonna give you the confidence to maybe do more things. And if something happens, you have a little support system. And especially in countries like Spain or Latin America, contacts are everything. Like in the US, maybe money is everything. You have money, you do whatever you want. But in Latin America, even if you have money, that doesn't mean you can do everything. You get a loan, you'll do more if you know the right people, and that's almost in everything. It's all about relationships. So it's a good idea to connect with other expats and with locals. And I got some ideas, but go ahead. You have any more questions? You know you have more.
Okay, well, so what I was thinking when you were talking was about this trip I took to Italy. I was there for a month, so I wasn't an expat. I wasn't going to live there for a long time, but I was going to stay for a while. I like long travel. Like, I like going to a place and really experiencing the culture. So I'm staying in this small town in Italy. It's outside of Rome, a ways, and I am having health issues. Like, I had almost
Oh,
completely lost my sight in one eye. I had some sort of, it's called
mm,
coronary uveitis or something. I don't know. I had it
wow.
treated in France, but my eye was dilated. I looked like a crazy person. And then after I get there, I'm there for a couple of days, and I get out of the bed one day and my back like seized on me. I get these lower back spasms that happen especially when I'm not sleeping on a good bed or I'm sitting on hard surfaces a lot. And I've had it before, but it just can be really bad, and it makes it hard for me to move for a couple of days when it happens. And so I
Oh,
fall over
wow.
on the floor. I'm laying there on the floor in this Airbnb,
That's
and
scary.
I was like, I don't know. I can't call anyone. I don't have a friend I can call. I don't have anyone. There's no one in the town I know. I don't speak the language, and no one there spoke any English, which was normal because I wasn't in a touristy area. So that's to be expected. But I just really learned that lesson about what it's like to be somewhere and to be in need, and you just don't even, I didn't even know how to call emergency services, which I'm sure they have, and I'm sure they can respond to things like that. Um but I think that really underscored for me the value of just having people that now I'm very fortunate that I've traveled so much and I have friends all over Europe, and so if I really needed someone, they're a quick plane ride away. But it is important to have those, especially if you're going to be somewhere for the long term. I liked what you said about that support system, and like, what happens if you get sick or something happens. You need to know someone. There need to be people that you can call, and there need to be people that can call you. There's
Mhm.
something about giving back in that way too that I think
It, it,
really
it
matters
just
and gives us purpose.
This just happened to me yesterday. Kind of like something very similar. We were finishing a
Mm-hmm.
project, big project, about a week ago. We moved these two ladies. We moved them into a very remote area in on the hills in Costa Rica. It's called Monteverde. It's like a small little town
Okay.
up on the hills, remote,
Green
hard
Mountain.
hard to reach. It's hard to reach. One of them got sick. We made the delivery about a week ago, or a couple of weeks ago. We make the delivery, but we're still connected. We're still friends. One of
Mm-hmm.
them called me yesterday, texted me yesterday. Hey, Paulo, my spouse, my wife, she's sick, and they took her to the hospital, and I need somebody to help me because I cannot talk to her. I don't have a way to call her at the hospital. Nobody speaks English at the hospital. So she called me earlier. It was about maybe 8 a.m. in the morning yesterday. And I said, well, let me see who I know. Because once again, in Costa Rica, Latin America, it's everything who you know. So who of my friends
Mm-hmm.
works as a nurse or as a doctor in that hospital or in any hospital. So I call a few
Mm-hmm.
friends, and then they told me this is the process for you to get some information. Contact this number. So I did the process. I
Mm-hmm.
called the office, and they gave me a little report of how she was. So she's stable, this and that, da, da, da. So then I called her and explained this to her. This is the visits, whatever. So I just gave them a little information, but she had somebody to talk to. I mean, she called me, maybe she called other friends, but she realized and she knew that she needed to talk to somebody if she wants to know something about her wife. Otherwise, she'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
and these ladies are in their 69, 70, 72.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah.
they are retired. They need that additional help and support. And I
Mm-hmm.
would say, I see it. I mean, I can see how that's important. So for health issues, to easy your transition as well, and to enjoy the transition as well. I mean, there is nothing like doing this with other people that who thinks
Mm-hmm.
about relocating and who are thinking like you. And on top of that, if you're able to learn the local language, be able to talk and communicate and build community with the locals, are going to open another set of doors that are going to make things easier for
Mm-hmm.
you as well.
Well, what has your personal experience been with building community? I can tell you're great at it. We've talked about that before. I see you doing it online. You're just so good at connecting with people. But what has your experience been? How have you been able to do that when you've moved different countries?
I mean, that's, I guess, a little bit of personality, a little bit of who I am. I was raised in a church with a community. That's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
who I am a little bit. Uh, but if you are not that social, you still need to figure out ways how to connect with other people. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so my experience is that for me, maybe easier. For other people, I know it's harder. But
Right.
one thing I learned is expat communities are usually small. So if you are in Tamarindo, which is a small beach town in Costa Rica, or if you are in San Juan del Sur, just by you going to the center of the town to two of the most popular coffee places, you're gonna meet probably 30% of the other expat community just by going to these are very small little towns. So it's
Sure.
not that hard because the community is not as big.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see many locals, yes, but the amount of people that is living in these small local towns for many years are not going to be as many. So it's fairly easy to connect with most people in these small towns.
Right.
What you need to do is you need to get involved with the community. So I have a couple of
Mm-hmm.
recommendations for that. One of them to me is look for something to do. So, what are your
Mm-hmm.
hobbies? So, you love surfing. Okay, that's the easiest way. Surfers make community, build contacts super easy. Okay, you love fishing. So, look for who are the guys who are going out to do fishing, or look for a non-profit for you to spend time doing, charity. Maybe there is a local
Mm-hmm.
association that helps the local kids with food or with education, and they be happy to have an extra set of hands, helping, making little lunches or lunch or helping for whatever. Maybe you have a skill, knowledge that you can share. Maybe you can teach them English. Maybe you don't know Spanish, but you can get a little group and prepare a little class to teach them basic English, things like that. So there's a lot of things you could do. And some of these towns need help, in general. Low income families, they need other ways to make money, so you can teach things. Uh, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll say look for something to do. Doing is better than anything. To me, doing is everything. If you're doing things, people's gonna look at you and they will wanna connect with you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. It made me think as you were talking about hobbies, like in Spain, cycling is really big. I don't think a lot of people realize that, but in the area I live in Spain, cycling is huge. So my friend that's a cyclist goes out with uh, lots of people, meets up with different groups. That's a great way for them to meet. Um, I've also found I always say this to everyone. I talk about Facebook all the time, and it's funny because I hardly use Facebook at all, except for when I'm in Spain, because it's just not so. It's not as used anymore in the U.S. I don't feel like, but there are expat groups. I know in Spain. I'm guessing there are other places too, and so you just look up like the name of the town and look for groups. And it might just be informational, but I've met people through some of those for one reason or another. You can definitely get helpful information from there, and you can learn about events that are going on. In the town I live in, I mean, we only have 10,000 people, but they'll have a game night, like a trivia night, or a night where they play bingo, or just different events that you can go to, charitable events that they do. So I think that's really important. And one of the things you hit on, have you watched the Blue Zone documentary on Netflix? Have you seen that?
Yeah.
one of the things they talk about for people who are looking for longevity in life is volunteerism, like having that purpose, that cause. So when you mentioned getting involved by volunteering, I think that's such a great idea.
I think
And
so.
hey, it could add some years to your life. You never know. So,
So I was saying this is basically to summarize that. Look for things to do. Hobbies is great. Non-profits or volunteering to local association activities like that, or perhaps church is another one that is big.
oh, yeah.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and funny you mentioned these expat groups, the expat groups in Facebook. I am in 487 expat groups. So I don't use all of them. I only use the countries I'm
What?
using. Yeah, crazy, huh?
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
I'm in some of
That's
the most
amazing.
strange expat groups, but it's just for and those are only for expats, like expats in
Okay.
Egypt, expats in Madrid, expats in Shanghai, expats in Singapore. Anyway, did it many years ago.
Whew.
So I'm only now doing Costa Rica, Spain, Portugal, whatever. I'm about to eliminate a lot of them. But anyway, with
Right.
that, I would say you can connect with a lot of people, but be careful as well because you're connecting with
Mm.
people for great reasons, but it can also be a window for somebody that is not somebody might want to take advantage of you, and that's kind of the
That's a good
things
point.
I believe. That's the kind of like the issue with going online. So people will use, you know, try to sell you something. You look at too good to be true pricing for something, but no houses in Spain. That's real. But maybe you wanna maybe maybe you wanna
Some
buy a
people have
laptop.
told me that it's not. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, but you get my point. A lot of people could
Yeah.
a lot of things could be too good to be true, or you can get somebody to ask you for your credit card information or something, or let's meet at this place that is
Sure.
maybe a lonely place. So again, just have common sense. If you're new in town, just take the extra precaution. Meet in a place where you know there's going to be other people. If you want to meet with somebody, coffee place or restaurant, things like that. Just be careful in general who you meet because online you never know who you're dealing with. It's just again you have to be careful.
So we've talked a lot about solutions, ways to build community. Are there any challenges that you think expats may face in building communities in new countries? Other than maybe not knowing the local language, if they're still learning the language, anything else that comes to mind?
I don't think there's many challenges. I think it's a matter of pushing yourself to do it. That's
Right.
that's most people tend to try to get
You are
with
your own challenge, right?
pretty much. I would say most people just
Yeah.
is used to surrounding themselves for around other people that are similar to them, other people that speak English, and they just make this little barrier in between them and the community and the local community.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good that you're building community with other expats. That's great. Once you have that, as much as possible, you need to learn how to reach to the rest of the community. And these communities, our
Mm-hmm.
communities in general, are going to have a lot of different opportunities for you to connect. They're going to have a lot of different
Right.
opportunities. Like we mentioned those already. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
pushing yourself to do it. Look for networking events. Maybe not in every town, maybe not in every city. But I know we're doing in Costa Rica in different places. We're doing in Mexico in Playa del Carmen. In Panama, they do a networking event almost every night. It's crazy.
Wow.
Panama is very active for whatever reason. Every other night they have these meetups, mixers, networking event for expats in Panama City. So it's a lot of places where there is a lot of that. There's a lot of places where there's none of that at all. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so there is also a platform that is called Internations. I don't know if you know or you hear about this platform. This platform offers
Mm-hmm.
networking events in like 100 different cities. So you go
Whoa.
to Internations, look for their events. It could be getting a coffee together, or let's go do some, bird watching, or let's go do some painting together. So they have a big list of different activities that you, as an expert, could do in like 100+ cities. Very known, a German company offers this. It's an app and a website, and they have it all over
Cool.
the world, mainly for corporate expats, people who relocate from one company to another company. So they built this
Hmm.
solution to have these corporate employees have things to do in their other cities, but it's open
Right.
and available for everyone to use. So
That's really cool. That reminds me a little bit of the couch surfing. I don't know if you've,
yeah,
not of couch
I,
surfing itself, but the couch surfing app has like events in it. And I've been to a lot and they've been incredible. I still am friends
wow.
with some people that I've met at couch surfing events, which is really cool. And it's nice because often at those events you meet people who are locals who are really passionate about their city or their country and they're excited to talk to people about it. And then you also meet other travelers or expats from all over the world. It can be really incredible.
I didn't know that. I didn't know. I'll look for that. You
Yeah.
need to send me that link.
Yeah, couch surfing itself is more like getting to stay for free on someone's couch or in a spare room that they have. That's the initial concept, but they added these other things to their app that I found were helpful. I never used the app to stay anywhere because I was always staying at Airbnbs, but it's really just a cool community of people who are all passionate about travel and passionate about their own cities and showing people around. They also have something on the app called meetups. So you
Mm,
can put in the app, like you can go live, basically not live on video, but like make your general location live, not a specific location. It's not like anyone can track you, but you can
hmm.
say, I want to, and then you fill in the blank. You can say, I want to get coffee. I want to, go for a walk on the beach. I want to, whatever. And then other people can see, oh, so and so's available. And they'll message you and say, hey, do you want to meet up and go do whatever it was that you had
I
mentioned?
like that.
And so there's lots of ways to connect with people through the couchsurfing app that doesn't have anything to do with actually going and staying on someone's couch. So I
Mm.
really enjoyed using that and met lots of really cool people that way.
So,
Um,
so, so there are
what?
many ways to connect with people. You just have to push yourself and be open and
That's right.
interact with other people. I didn't know about that one.
That's right.
Internation is another one. So there are many
Hmm.
many solutions. The expat groups is another one. So it's just a matter of trying to connect with the local community and with other people who are doing the same.
That's awesome. Well, I hope for everyone listening that this conversation has been helpful for you. Do reach out to us. Let us know if there's anything that you want us to talk about when it comes to expat life or how we can help you. Pablo, thank you so much. It was great talking with you again.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.